You know, there's a silent war being fought right now, and it's happening inside your phone. It's a war over your private conversations. In a world where it feels like everything we do online is being watched, the promise of a truly secure message has become this huge battleground for our privacy.
So let's just ask the big question right up front. Are your private messages actually private? It sounds like a simple yes or no, but the answer is, well, it's incredibly complicated. It gets into technology, philosophy, even politics. When you hit send on a message, who else might be looking over your shoulder? The company that made the app? The government? To even begin to answer that, we have to start with the basic lock on the door.
So, before we can even start comparing different apps, Signal, Session, any of them, we need to talk about the absolute bare minimum, the one piece of tech that every single private messaging app has to be built on.
And that is end-to-end encryption, or what you'll see called E2EE. This is the price of admission, okay? It's totally non-negotiable. It basically means that the second you hit send, your message gets scrambled into unreadable gibberish, and it stays that way until the exact moment your friend's phone unscrambles it. Nobody in the middle, not your internet provider, not a hacker, not even the company that runs the app, can read what it says. If an app doesn't have this, it's not even in the conversation, period.
Okay, so with that baseline in place, let's look at our first case study, Signal. For years now, whenever you ask security experts about private communication, they pretty much all point to Signal as the gold standard.
Signal's reputation didn't just pop up out of nowhere. The core technology that powers it, the Signal protocol, goes all the way back to 2013, and by 2016, it was so good, so trusted, that WhatsApp, that WhatsApp, adopted it to encrypt the conversations of billions of people all over the planet. So this isn't just some app, it's the DNA for a huge chunk of the entire secure messaging world. But honestly, the tech is only half the story. The philosophy behind Signal is what really makes it special. This quote from its founder, Moxie Marlinspike, just nails it. As a nonprofit, Signal's whole reason for being is different. They've been set up specifically to remove the financial incentive to sell you out. There are no advertisers to please or shareholders demanding they squeeze money out of your data.
And that philosophy is not just talk, it's baked right into the features. The code is open source, which means anyone, anywhere, can look at it and check for weaknesses. They've built these incredible systems like private contact discovery, which can tell you which of your friends are on Signal without ever actually looking at your address book. Think about that. Even your group chats are shielded. The server doesn't know the name of your group or even who's in it. The entire goal is to know as little about you as humanly possible.
But Signal's way, this trusted, centralized nonprofit, isn't the only way to do privacy. A totally different school of thought asks, what if the best way to do this is to remove that central point of trust completely? And that brings us to Session, which takes a radically decentralized approach to the problem. And this right here, this is Session's killer feature. See, while Signal does everything it can to minimize what it knows, it still ties your account to your phone number. And a phone number is a piece of real-world data, often tied to your government ID. Session just cuts that cord. You're not a phone number. You're an auto-generated string of characters. So how does this even work without a central server to direct traffic? Well, Session sends your message on a wild ride. Instead of going from you to a server to your friend, it gets bounced around a network of over 2,000 computers run by volunteers all over the world. This technique, which is a bit like onion routing, is designed to hide not just what you're saying but the metadata, the who is talking to whom part, which can sometimes be just as revealing. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Decentralized network, community-run nodes, this sounds a lot like blockchain or crypto, right? And, well, you're not wrong. Session does use a digital token, but as co-founder Key Jeffries explains here, it's not about meme coins or making payments. The token's only job is to provide an incentive, a reward, for the people who volunteer to run the nodes that keep the network running strong and secure. It's about building the infrastructure. So what we have here are two really powerful but really different ways of thinking about privacy. You've got Signal, the trusted, centralized nonprofit, and then you have Session, the trustless, decentralized network. This isn't just about picking an app, it's about a philosophical choice. Where do you want to place your trust? Let's really break down what that means. And this table just lays out the trade-offs perfectly. With Signal, you are putting your trust in a single, well-known nonprofit organization to protect your data, which they're designed to minimize. It's an amazing choice for most people, journalists, activists, who need that rock-solid security. With Session, you don't have to trust anyone. Your trust is spread out across a whole network of strangers who are incentivized to keep things running. This is for users who value total anonymity above everything else. And of course, the funding is different. Signal runs on donations, while Sessions Network is powered by its own little economy, rewarding those node operators. But just when you think we've figured it all out, the goalposts start to move. A whole new class of threats is on the horizon that could make even the best of today's privacy tools totally useless. This is the big one, the quantum threat. We're talking about a future, maybe not so distant, where quantum computers could become so powerful that they could just shatter the math that all of our modern encryption is built on. And here's the really scary part. Bad actors can be recording our encrypted messages right now, today. They can just hoard all that scrambled data, knowing they can't read it yet, and just wait. They'll store it for years, waiting for the day they can fire up a quantum computer and decrypt everything. It's called a harvest now, decrypt later attack, and it makes a future threat a very, very immediate problem. So how is Signal dealing with this? Their answer is a really clever security upgrade. The best way to think about it is like having two totally different locks on a treasure chest. One lock is the classic kind we know is super strong against today's computers. The other lock is a brand new design built specifically to resist quantum computers. So to get in, an attacker would have to figure out how to pick both completely different locks. It's a fantastic belt and suspenders approach to make sure today's secrets stay secret for a very, very long time. As wild as the quantum threat sounds, there's another danger that's much more immediate and honestly a lot more common. And it's one that doesn't care one bit how strong your encryption is. It's called an Endrun attack. The logic is brutally simple. Why try to pick an unbreakable lock on a message when it's flying through the air? Why not just steal the message from the device itself? If you can compromise someone's phone, you can read their messages before they ever get encrypted. This is the real danger behind ideas like client-side scanning, where governments want to force your own phone to scan your private messages for them, basically turning your device into their spy.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. As this commenter on the super influential Schneier on Security blog puts it, these end-run attacks are what really keep the experts up at night. Because what good is a perfectly secure message if the phone it's on has been compromised?
Which really just leaves us with this final, massive question. We've spent decades building these incredibly secure, unbreakable pipes to carry our private conversations. But as those pipes have gotten stronger and stronger, has the battle just moved? Has the war for your words shifted away from the network and onto the very device you're holding in your hand right now?